In 2025, a major shift is quietly unfolding across the globe. America's closest allies from Canada to European nations are increasingly avoiding travel to the United States. The numbers are staggering. Canadian border crossings dropped by nearly 1 million in just 1 month. Flight bookings from Germany fell over 25%, and vacations to the U.S. are being canceled across Europe. Hotels stand empty, tourist attractions are deserted, and according to Goldman Sachs, the U.S. risks losing up to $90 billion in tourism revenue this year. What's happening? Is it politics, economic retaliation, or a deeper shift in how the world perceives America? In this video, we'll reveal 7 countries leading this silent boycott with hard data, real consequences, and a warning America cannot ignore. This isn't just about tourism, it's about how the world is drifting away from a superpower once seen as a dream destination. Hit like and subscribe to dive in because what you're about to see will change how you view America's place in the world. Canada has long been America's top tourism source, with millions crossing the border yearly for business, family visits, or short getaways. But in 2025, this familiar flow is slowing dramatically. In March alone, nearly 900,000 fewer Canadians entered the U.S. compared to the previous year, bringing border traffic to pandemic-era lows. Air travel is hit hard, with flight bookings down over 70% and airlines slashing 320,000 seats on U.S.-bound routes. Duty-free sales at borders have collapsed by nearly 50%, hurting businesses reliant on Canadian visitors. What's behind this? Many point to the Trump administration's new tariffs on Canadian goods, coupled with controversial rhetoric, like the suggestion that Canada become America's 51st state. These remarks didn't just stir media storms, they fueled deep resentment. Canada updated its travel advisory, warning citizens of potential phone and laptop searches at U.S. borders, even with valid documents. Canadians are responding by postponing trips, avoiding popular destinations like Florida, and drifting away from a country they once visited without hesitation. France has long been enamored with American culture, from Hollywood films to its majestic landscapes. But in 2025, this admiration is giving way to hesitation and doubt. Jean-François Rial, CEO of Voyager Demand, a leading French luxury tour operator, reports that bookings for U.S. travel have dropped by a staggering 20%. He told CNN, "In my 30 years in this business, I've never seen a decline like this for any destination." A shocking incident involved a French space researcher denied entry to the U.S. for unauthorized sensitive data. French media claimed he was targeted for private messages criticizing President Trump. The incident sparked outrage in France, shaking confidence in academic and cultural exchanges between the two nations. French citizens are increasingly worried about safety at U.S. borders, controversial entry requirements, and the risk of political retaliation. Travel communities and influencers across Europe are promoting a quiet boycott, urging travelers to redirect to friendlier, more stable destinations. For many French, America no longer symbolizes freedom and opportunity. Instead, it has become a destination of uncertainty and risk, prompting them to reconsider long-cherished travel plans. Germany has long been one of America's most reliable tourism and trade partners. But in 2025, this relationship is showing clear cracks. According to U.S. government data, arrivals from Germany fell by over 28% in March, the steepest drop among major European nations. Travel agencies and analysts point to political tensions and heightened scrutiny at U.S. borders as key drivers. Germany's Foreign Office issued a travel advisory, warning citizens that even with valid visas, they could face detention, interrogation, or entry denial without clear reasons. This followed high-profile incidents where German citizens, including those with no criminal history, were unexpectedly turned away. German media has begun questioning whether the U.S. remains a safe and reliable destination. Economic strain from U.S. tariffs further fuels discontent. As a result, tour groups are rerouting to Asia, families are choosing Southern Europe, and a close ally of the U.S. is quietly stepping back. When Germany, a nation historically tied to America, starts to turn away, it's a clear sign that this wave of change cannot be ignored. The UK and the US have long shared a special cultural bond, with millions of British travelers viewing America as a familiar and exciting destination. But in 2025, this connection is fracturing day by day. Airlines like Virgin Atlantic have cut transatlantic flights due to a noticeable drop in demand. Travel agencies report sluggish bookings, not just due to costs, but because of growing unease about how British citizens are treated at U.S. borders. A shocking case involved a young British tourist detained for 19 days over a visa misunderstanding, then deported in handcuffs and chains. The incident sparked outrage in Parliament, igniting debates about the treatment of UK nationals abroad. Travel forums, once filled with itinerary tips, are now flooded with warnings about heightened scrutiny, unexpected detentions, and risks from minor visa errors. Brits are redirecting to safer destinations, like Europe or Asia, where they don't have to worry about their treatment. When the UK, America's closest cultural ally, begins to pull away, it's not just a tourism issue, it's a sign of a deeper rift in this special relationship. Australia has long viewed the US as an ideal destination for tourism, study, and business. But in 2025, this connection is showing clear signs of strain. According to the U.S. International Trade Administration, Australian visitor numbers fell 7% in March, the steepest monthly drop since the COVID era. Beyond costs, reports highlight Australian travelers being denied entry, detained, or having phones searched at U.S. borders. The Australian government updated its travel advisory, urging citizens to carefully review visa terms and warning that entry is never guaranteed, even with valid documents. A travel executive noted, "More and more Australians and Europeans simply don't want to deal with U.S. passport control." Flight Centre, one of the region's largest travel firms, projects a $100 million revenue hit tied to the U.S. travel slump. Australians are choosing alternatives like Europe or Asia to avoid hassles and unease. When long-haul travelers like Australians start bypassing the U.S., it's not just about politics or policy. It's a personal shift, reflecting a loss of trust in America's once welcoming image. Spain has long been a major source of tourists to the U.S., with families dreaming of Florida beaches, couples yearning for New York's skyline, and students chasing the American dream. But in 2025, this dream is fading. Spanish travel agencies report a significant drop in demand for U.S. trips, with 4 out of 10 agencies noting declining sales. Travelers are redirecting to destinations like Canada, Egypt, or Latin America. Data from the International Trade Administration shows a 24.5% year-over-year drop in air arrivals from Spain in March, equating to nearly 20,000 fewer visitors than the previous year. Spanish tour operators are raising alarms about travelers' anxiety over airport screenings and disillusionment with America's political climate. Many are canceling trips not over cost, but on principle. They no longer see the U.S. as a land of freedom and joy, but as a place of uncertainty and tension. When Spain, a nation known for its free spirit and passion for travel, turns away, it's a sign that America's global image is facing a serious crisis. Denmark, though a small nation, is sending a powerful message in 2025. Air travel from Denmark to the U.S. dropped a stunning 34.5% in March compared to the previous year, one of the sharpest declines in Europe. But it's not just about costs or exchange rates. A grassroots boycott is gaining traction, with over 95,000 Danes joining an online campaign urging citizens to avoid American goods and cancel U.S. trips. They stress this isn't anti-American, but a response to U.S. government policies. A notable story involved a Danish retiree contacting a chocolate company to inquire about its almond's origin. Upon learning they were from California, she shared the response online and added the product to her boycott list. Tensions escalated when the U.S. criticized Denmark's role in governing Greenland, touching a nerve of national pride. Danish tourists are staying home, supermarkets label European products as non-American, and U.S. businesses feel the impact. Denmark's message, though small, is resonating worldwide. From Canada to Denmark, this isn't just about declining tourism. It's about the world stepping away from the idea of America, a symbol once widely admired. Travelers aren't just canceling trips, they're turning away from an image of America tied to freedom, opportunity, and welcome. This loss of trust is not easily regained. When close allies like the UK, Germany, or Canada hesitate, it's not just an economic issue, it's a bigger question. Can the US still be a destination that welcomes the world? The cost isn't just $90 billion in tourism revenue, but America's global reputation and connection. This boycott isn't loud, but it's growing, spreading through individual choices. Stay tuned to understand more about this changing world. Thank you for watching. Stay curious and keep exploring.